Welcome to my channel, guys. If you're brand new here, hello. I'm so happy that you're here. My name is Courtney. I make videos all around health, wellness, personal development, and just self-care and self-love and all that good stuff. So if that's your vibe, make sure you go ahead and click subscribe to the channel. Let's dive into today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys why I made the choice to officially take out NEXPLANON after about 6 months and why I'm choosing to go back to Mirena. Now, I do have a whole bunch of notes on my phone because I was like, I don't want to miss any points for you guys. But I basically made a video here on YouTube about five and a half years ago when I got Mirena in, and I shared that it was a very painful experience. It was a pretty rough, like little miniature procedure to get Mirena in. I just found it to be incredibly painful for a very short period of time, but nonetheless, very painful. I had Mirena in for a total of 5 years, and then at the end of the 5 years, I was talking to my gynecologist about what was next for me and what form of birth control was best. Should I get another Mirena? Should I try something different? And to be honest, just the procedure and like the little process of getting Mirena in, I just was dreading it. Knowing how painful it was, I was like, I will try anything and everything else before I go back to that. My doctor and I basically chatted and decided that NEXPLANON was a great alternative. So I tried it, I got it back in May, and now it is almost December. I've had it for a good few months, and to be honest, my body is just not loving it. I'm not super happy with the side effects that I'm experiencing. I did talk to my doctor about a lot of the stuff that he said could happen, and I'm gonna be sharing with you guys some of that stuff today. It's just not working well for me and my body. Obviously, everything I'm about to share with you is my personal experience and my story with it. What worked for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me, but this is just my experience. I have had NEXPLANON, like I said, for about 6 months now, and boy, it's been a journey. So NEXPLANON is the arm IUD. It kind of goes in the back side of your tricep back here, and it's a really low maintenance form of birth control. It's not like the pill where you have to take it every single day. It's very out of sight, out of mind, and I did love that. I knew I wanted something where I didn't have to rely on me taking a pill every single night. I wanted it to be very low maintenance, so that's why I chose NEXPLANON. It sounded like Mirena with kind of the out of sight, out of mind deal, but without the pain of going in through your hoo-ha. Feels like a knife is getting jabbed up there, but we'll talk about that. So Mirena lasts for about 5 years and NEXPLANON lasts for about 3. Now, I had Mirena in for the entire 5 years. Once it was in, once it was up there, I loved it. I had an amazing experience. My periods were very manageable. I didn't experience any weight gain, any bad acne, any crazy mood swings. I didn't really feel any difference. I just found that it was out of sight, out of mind, and really easy to maintain. And now that I've had NEXPLANON for about 6 months now, I've just found that it's like night and day with my experience. So when I was on Mirena, I actually didn't get a period all that often. I would get one like once, maybe every 1 or 2 months, and it was very light, very manageable. Versus with NEXPLANON, I have found that I go through larger bleeding periods, and I'm sorry if that like grosses you out, but women have periods, you know, it's part of nature. But yeah, I found that my periods on NEXPLANON were really, really heavy and really long. I had a period last for 30 days. I bled for an entire month. And I remember by the end of it, my body, I was just tired. I was just like, I don't have any more energy to give. I felt like my iron was so low. I felt like I had just lost a lot of blood, and I had. The first thing that I had really experienced was really long bouts of bleeding. Again, some of those were like 30 days long, some of them were 2 weeks long, but it was a lot on my body. I really just felt like on NEXPLANON, my body was not rejecting it, but it wasn't adjusting to it that well. The second thing I noticed happened was that I was getting really deep acne, and I am not someone who I'm very blessed, very grateful. Bless up, thank you God. I am not someone who has struggled with a lot of acne. Now, obviously I have makeup on, you can't really see right now, and it's kind of clear right now, but what I found was that the acne wasn't the worst looking acne that you've ever seen, but it was painful. It was very uncomfortable, and it was like underneath the surface, you can't even get at it, but it's just like sore and tender kind of painful. And as a woman, as a human, that really affects your self-confidence. You know, I do a lot of work on camera. I'm an online coach. I do YouTube. I'm recording myself a lot. So if I am feeling like my skin is uncomfortable, if I'm feeling like my pores are clogged, if I'm feeling like I'm broken out all over and my skin is too tender to touch in some areas, it just doesn't work for me. The third thing I kind of saw happen was that when I did have my period, when it would come up, I was experiencing a lot of those symptoms that I had when I was much younger, which was really intense cramps, really bad headaches, absolutely no energy. And again, that acne where it was just taking over. Like I was having body acne on my back, on my chest, on my chin, all along like my jawline, in between my eyes. Like it was a weird reaction that my body was having. It became, again, just like uncomfortable and painful. So another thing that happened, and I'm smiling because I'm sharing this with the world, and I'm going to talk about my boobs now. So so another thing that I realized was that my tatas got so incredibly sore, like so sore. And it got so bad that I literally drove myself to my gynecologist and got an ultrasound because I thought, oh my gosh, I have a lump in my boob. Like I have breast cancer. I have a history of breast cancer in my family. So I took it so seriously and I went there. I'm like, I can't even touch my boobs. Like I can't hold them. My husband can't grab them, you know, like just honesty. And I found that like going down the stairs hurt, putting on a sports bra hurt. They were just achy all of the time. And I found that they got really swollen. I'm like holding my boobs now. I found that my boobs got much more swollen and tender and just uncomfortable with Nexplanon. Yes, they did grow a little bit, which is nice. You know, hubby loves that, but I love that. But you know, for me, being uncomfortable in my body is not something that I'm willing to sacrifice. So it's been nice to have a little bit of the extra cup size, but it's been really awful feeling like absolutely everywhere you go, you're like, it's hard. And I will say that my doctor cleared everything. We looked for tumors, we looked for breast cancer. Luckily, everything came back super healthy and super normal. So yeah, just having super like lumpy breasts and really tender and sore breasts, I'm not about it. And that is just something I am looking forward to not experiencing anymore. And the next thing that has really solidified me taking Nexplanon out is the placement of Nexplanon. So I think that they choose, it's like back, don't mind my spray tan elbow. It's here behind my tricep. I don't know if you can actually see, but I did not know that you're gonna be able to feel it so much. I don't know if this is everyone's experience, but mine is very, very surface level. And my doctor said that you want it to be that way so that way you can always make sure it's in the right place and, you know, nothing breaks or bends or moves. And I'm like, can it move? Like, is that safe? Like, can it break in half? But I've realized that in this placement in my back tricep, I'm a fairly active person. I love working out. I love lifting weights. I love running around and just being active in general. And I found that I kept noticing and kept grabbing and kept touching and feeling it. And that just really freaked me out. It is quite a large bar. It's like this long, so I would say maybe 2 inches long. It was longer than I expected when they put it in, but I don't love the placement of it. I don't love that when I'm stretching and I'm holding onto my arms like this, dangling forward, that I can feel it. I'm kind of worried about, like, you know, my brother was here a few weeks ago and he was like, you know, coming up behind me and like grabbing me by the arms, and I was like, oh my gosh, don't break it. I felt like in that place, it's just not the best place for it. I feel like they should find a better place where it can go in your body where you're not going to feel it, notice it, or possibly interfere with it. Like, I don't want to break it. I don't want it to move around. And I just found that between my husband kind of like playing with my arms and me being active, it just, I'm not here for it. So yes, Nexplanon has helped me not get pregnant, and it has protected us from that in a way, and it's done its job in that aspect. However, because of all the other things I talked about, I've just realized that I don't want to be feeling this way anymore. I don't want to feel swollen and tender. I don't want to feel the acne and the pain. I don't want to feel all of the extra period symptoms. So because of that, I am making the choice to go back to Mirena. I have a doctor's appointment in a little under a week to get that back in. So I'm going to try and record as much as I can of that and bring you along for that process, because here's my summary of my experience. Getting both of the IUDs in is night and day. Getting Mirena in is the most painful thing I've ever done in my life, but I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of Mirena for the next 5 years, drastically more than I have these 6 months of Nexplanon. So Nexplanon, the actual procedure of getting it in, you don't have to go under. It's not up your hoo-ha, you know, it's not super painful. It is very, very mild pain compared to Mirena, but I just hate the experience that I've had with Nexplanon so far. I hate the periods, I hate the bleeding. So if you can manage the pain and you can find a way to work with your doctor. I actually have a new doctor now, and she said that she does something called like cervix numbing. So instead of them just going in and opening your cervix for you and shoving Mirena up there like my last doctor did, this doctor is going to numb that area, numb the cervix with like lidocaine and a shot, which still sounds painful to me, but nothing can be more painful than getting Mirena in. She goes in, she numbs the cervix, and then she goes ahead and puts the Mirena in. She said it's like a 6 out of 10. with like the pain scale compared to a 10 out of 10, which is what most people say when they get Mirena. So if you can find a gynecologist or a doctor who can do that cervix numbing, if you can take something for the anxiety and the pain, I think it's gonna make for a much more enjoyable experience. And again, I've only had Nexplanon for 6 months, so maybe these are still some of the symptoms that are going to fade away over the next 3 years, but I also feel like 6 months, my body should be adjusted to it by now. That is why I'm choosing to take Nexplanon out and go with Mirena. Like I said, I'm gonna try and record that so you can see the whole procedure and process. My husband's gonna come with me, he has to drive me home. And I'm like, you know what? We're both in this, babe. You should see what goes into this. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and record that for you guys, and stay tuned for that next video. But if you love hearing, you know, all videos around health, wellness, personal development, that is my vibe here on this channel. I'm an open book, so make sure that you click subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you loved it, and keep an eye out for the next video coming on me getting Mirena in, what that looked like. Well, not what that looked like, but how that felt, what it was like that day, and just my experience with that procedure as well. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.